Hello and welcome to Midday Update. Coming up are the headlines for the day. Health Ministry announces requirements for travelling abroad for treatment. Study to be suspended at all schools in Muscat Governorate. On HM's directives, Royal Camel Corps hosts Expo on camel history. Christmas Day rains, floods in Philippines claim 13 lives and 23 still missing. Heavy snow in Japan kills 17, leave dozens wounded. New COVID guidelines for travellers from UAE to India. Novak Djokovic arrives in Australia ahead of Australian Open. Tim Southee completes 350 test wickets, becomes third New Zealand player to do so. Those are the headlines. Now for the local stories for the day. The Ministry of Health has announced requirements and procedures for patients seeking treatment abroad. The Department of Treatment Abroad Affairs at the Ministry announced that the new ways to allow citizens request for treatments abroad have been specified only via email or WhatsApp. It is required that the patient sends the application clearly, including the following attachments, in order for it to be presented to the National Committee for Treatment Abroad for study and decision, the Ministry said. Contact numbers of the application. It must include a recent medical report from a government hospital in the Sultanate of Oman. The date of its issuance should not exceed the last 6 months. Recommendations of a medical report from the patient's attending physician that treatment is not available in government hospitals is also required, MOH said. MOH added that after presenting the application to the National Committee for Treatment Abroad, within 2 working weeks, the patient will be informed of the committee's decision via email or via text message via WhatsApp on the numbers attached to the application. The classes will be suspended at all schools in Muscat Governorate on Wednesday, December 28, 2022, due to the rainfall of varying intensity that the Governorate is witnessing. Numerical readings indicate that rains of varying intensity will continue to fall in some wilayats in the Governorate of Muscat until tomorrow, Wednesday, to ensure the safety of students and the teaching staff, and after coordination with the National Early Warning Centre for Multiple Hazards, the Ministry directed to suspend studies in all public and private schools in the Governorate for tomorrow, Wednesday, December 28, 2022, the Director General of Education in Muscat Governorate said in a statement. The Director General added that students will resume their studies on Thursday, December 29, 2022. In implementation of the directives of His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq, the Royal Camel Corps will organize a seminar and exhibition in Riyadh on Omani camel history. The events, which begin on 3rd January, will continue till 7th January 2023. The seminar, held in cooperation with Oman's embassy in Riyadh, seeks to spread awareness about Omani camels, their history, origins, and their economic, social, and cultural values. It also highlights the Royal Camel Corps' role in preserving breeds of Omani purebred camels. The seminar reflects ongoing cooperation between Oman and Saudi Arabia in all fields, including exploring opportunities in camel-related economies, scholarly, and other aspects of concern to those interested in camel affairs. An exposition will be held on the sidelines of the seminar. It will highlight 4 elements: the history of Omani camels, the activities of the Royal Camel Corps, including services it renders to camel-rearing communities, the role of the Director General of Veterinary Services at the Royal Court of Affairs, and the heritage arts associated with camels, including songs of Bedouin people, and 2 photography exhibitions to be staged by the Omani Society for Fine Arts on the theme of camels. Those are the local stories. We'll take a short break and we'll be back with international news. Stay tuned.
Circly just landed in Oman. Now you can enjoy your life and save through unlimited buy 2 for the price of 1 offers and discounts starting 20% onwards at more than 2,000 leading vendors covering all your needs. Download Circly Oman mobile application, subscribe and try 1 month for free. Upgrade your lifestyle with Circly Oman.
Welcome back to Midday Update. Now for the international stories. Heavy rains and flash floods over Christmas claimed 13 lives in Philippines, with a further 23 missing who are believed to be fishermen, sources reported on Tuesday, citing the country's Disaster Management Council. The calamity not only wreaked havoc in the country but also pushed more than 45,000 people into evacuation centers for shelter. The fishermen who are reportedly missing went out to sea despite the dangers associated with bad weather, the disaster agency said. According to local media, 12 roads were submerged by overflowing rivers on Tuesday, and more than 20 locations in the impacted area were still without power. The heavy rains followed by flash floods occurred as a result of a shear line, an area where warm and cold winds meet and lead to the formation of huge rain clouds, as per the country's Weather Bureau, Philippines Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration, which further stated that rain-induced landslides are likely in some areas. The fatalities included a 1-year-old girl and a 64-year-old man who drowned in separate events in the province of Camarines Sur, which is located about 270 kilometers southeast of Manila. In the southern province of Misamis Occidental, 4 additional people are said to have perished, including a 68-year-old woman who had a heart attack after being rescued, according to sources. Rescue efforts are still ongoing and the impact on agriculture is being evaluated. Over the Christmas holiday, heavy snowfall in northern Japan and other regions of the nations claimed the lives of at least 17 people and injured over 90 others, sources reported on Tuesday, citing the authorities. Strong winter fronts have pounded parts of Japan hard with heavy snow, especially around the west coast, according to meteorological officials, stranding cars on the roads and delaying delivery services since mid-December. Citing an official associated with Japan's Fire and Disaster Management Agency, sources stated a woman in her 70s died after she was buried underneath the snow that fell off a roof in Nagai City, Yamagata Prefecture. The cause of her death was due to the excessive piling up of snow higher than 80 centimeters on Saturday. Last week, the Japan Meteorological Agency reported that snow accumulation in some areas was far above average. The weather has been becoming worse in Japan over the past few years. While areas of the south were hammered by torrential rains from a violent typhoon in September, the northeastern regions of Hokkaido experienced severe snowstorms in December, sources reported. Harsh winters have not only claimed lives in Japan but also across the US, where the death toll has crossed 50. Several homes and businesses have been knocked out of power due to harsh weather conditions in the US, sources reported. Amid growing concern over rising COVID-19 cases, Air India Express has released a set of guidelines for travelers coming from the United Arab Emirates. Keeping appropriate COVID protocols such as full immunization, wearing masks and following physical distancing are some of the directives mentioned in its new guidelines. These steps have been taken due to a renewed surge in COVID cases in many countries, including China. It says that visitors from the UAE should be fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and should use masks and follow physical distancing during their travel and at all points of entry. All guests should preferably be fully vaccinated as per the approved primary schedule of vaccinations against COVID-19 in their country, Air India Express on its official Twitter account said. The airline also suggested passengers to self-monitor their health after their arrival at Indian airports and report to the nearest health facility if they find any symptoms. However, it didn't mention about random testing, as announced by the India's Union Ministry of Civil Aviation that at least 2% of international passengers will undergo random sampling post-arrival as part of a precautionary measure. Those are a few of the international stories. We'll take a short break and we'll be back with sports news. Stay tuned.
Circly just landed in Oman. Now you can enjoy your life and save through unlimited buy 2 for the price of 1 offers and discounts starting 20% onwards at more than 2,000 leading vendors covering all your needs. Download Circly Oman mobile application, subscribe and try 1 month for free. Upgrade your lifestyle with Circly Oman.
Welcome back to Midday Update. Now for the sports news. 9-time Australian Open Championship Novak Djokovic arrived in Australia nearly a year after he was deported from the country, sources reported on Tuesday. Djokovic landed in Adelaide, where he is due to play in the Adelaide International beginning on Sunday. Less than a year after his high-profile visa saga and deportation last January, Djokovic's bid for a remarkable 10th title at Melbourne Park next month has begun in earnest. Djokovic, the men's tennis standout, has missed Australian and US Opens in 2022 due to his refusal to be vaccinated against COVID-19. A source familiar with Djokovic's travel plans confirmed late Tuesday that the Serbian had arrived in Adelaide, where he will play an open warm-up event next week. The Mixed Gender United Cup begins on Thursday, kicking off the Australian tennis summer, and Djokovic will begin his 2023 campaign with the Adelaide International, an ATP 250 event in South Australia that begins on January 1st. The Australian government granted the Serb a visa to attend the Grand Slam event in November, stating that it had decided to rescind the decision to cancel Djokovic's visa after considering all relevant factors. Djokovic's visa was revoked in January 2022. Since then, all COVID-related border restrictions in Australia have been lifted, including the requirement to show proof of vaccination status to enter the country. Australian Open boss Craig Tiley flagged the former world number one's arrival in Adelaide at a press conference on Tuesday morning, as stated by sources. "I think he's going to be the player to beat," Tiley said. The former world number one won the season-ending ATP finals last month and will be a favourite to win his 10th Australian Open title. The 2023 Australian Open will take place at Melbourne Park from January 16 to 29th. New Zealand pacer and Test skipper Tim Southee completed 350 wickets in Test cricket, becoming only the third Kiwi bowler to do so. The 34-year-old veteran reached this milestone during New Zealand's first Test against Pakistan at Karachi. In Pakistan's first innings, Southee was the pick of the bowlers, taking 3 for 69 in 25.5 overs at an economy rate of 2.67. Now in 89 matches, Southee has taken a total of 350 scalps at an average of 28.94 and an economy rate of 3.0. His best bowling figures in an innings are 7 for 64 and 10 for 108 in a full Test match. The highest wicket taker for New Zealand in Tests is the all-rounder Richard Hadlee. In 86 Tests, he took 431 wickets at an average of 22.29 and economy rate of 2.63. His best bowling figures are 9 for 52 in an innings, and for a whole match they are 15 for 123. Behind Hadlee's former Kiwis all-rounder Daniel Vettori, who has a total of 361 Test scalps. Tim Southee 3 for 69 was the pick of the bowlers for the Kiwis. Ajaz Patel, Ish Sodhi and Michael Bracewell also took 2 scalps, while Neil Wagner took 1. Those were all the local, international and sports stories for the day. For more updates, stay tuned and keep watching TTV.
You've just heard the live feed from the TTV studios on TFM 95.4. Let's talk.